Hello, everyone. It is just about 8:30 in the evening on August 13, 2019, and now I have been through a whirlwind day. I have uploaded a lot of videos today, which I'm very proud of. I finished my NDH20 summary after completing the final comparison of the NDH20. And I've in my last video, the conclusion, I told you why the NDH20 is something that I cannot recommend for mixing and mastering. And now I'm going to tell you why I like the NDH20. Bear with me. Have you ever had kombucha? Kombucha is a fermented drink with a slight amount of alcohol, which is by nature how fermentation works. But it's a fermented drink with probiotic features, and it's good for your stomach. It's good for your health. It makes you livelier. It makes you healthier. It's a delicious drink that is created by live cultures. And it's something that hippies drink. I'm not a hippie. My brother once showed me a video of a hippie in Hawaii, and this individual grew kombucha culture and then drank the broth. And it was the most disgusting thing I had ever seen. And I swore to myself I was never going to drink kombucha. And I've been drinking kombucha for the last couple of weeks because somebody introduced me to kombucha and I was compelled to drink it. And now here I am drinking kombucha right now because I really do like kombucha. It's really refreshing. Why am I telling you this? Because the NDH20 has a similar experience for me. When I originally found out about the NDH20, I was very hesitant because there was a lot of hype behind it. And I looked at the specs on Neumann's website and I thought about it and I thought, something just doesn't sound right. One of my teachers in school, in my master's program, told me once, if it feels like you're being fucked with, you probably are being fucked with. And I'm quoting him. That statement has stayed with me since the day I heard it in class. And in my opinion, it's true. If you feel as if somebody is messing with you, if you feel as if that you're being lied to, if you're being led by the nose, you probably are. And when I read the marketing material on Neumann's website, and then when I dove deeper into the website to try to find specs that really made sense to me, a response graph, for example, and all I came across was marketing material that they pass out to anyone. And then I looked at the reviews online, which were lackluster at best and no real comparison. Then I saw people shilling the product. I was really immensely irritated. And you would be too. If you're interested in a product, you might say, this is stuff that I don't really want to jump into. It's too expensive. And $500 is a lot of money. But I like the NDH20. And here's why I like it. I like it because it has that smooth, luscious sound signature. Now, in my opinion, here's what luscious means. Luscious is something that is soothing and relaxing and warm and comforting. That's what I think of when I say luscious. Now, you will hear and read the terminology luscious often when you think about audiophile gear. This is a luscious player. This has a luscious sound signature. The Chord Mojo is a delicious DAC. Delicious. And those types of terminology are very amorphous. But my experience with the NDH20, the repeated factual things that I have found about it, things I've pointed out to you, all lead me to say that this is a pretty luscious sounding headphone. I would say that the headphone, the NDH20, is the headphone equivalent of the Chord Mojo. Now hold it there. What are you talking about? You might say. We know that the Chord Mojo, based upon our recent testing and future testing we'll come to, but we know about the Chord Mojo that it has a warmer sound signature and that it's a very comforting sound signature. that even though it doesn't lack in detail, it doesn't really have a whole lot of separation with multiple instruments. And we know that the Chord Mojo has a more relaxed presentation of the entire frequency range. And when compared to something more analytical like the THX, either desktop or portable, or even the Q5, there's something lingering about the Mojo. Something that makes you say, I prefer this sound signature versus the more analytical sound signature. Now, we could go into the whole psychology and the upbringing of individuals to like that particular warmer sound signature, but that's not important. In the same vein, I would say that the NDH20 has a similar way of presenting music. Warmer than the other headphones we compared to, the HP50, the Allo Audio, and the other stuff that we talked about. That's not a bad thing. As long as you know what you're getting yourself into and you are fully aware of the facts behind a particular product, what it can and cannot do, then you can make a knowing, intelligent decision whether or not you want to buy it. Knowing everything I do now, would I go back in time and purchase or not purchase the NDH20? That's a difficult question for me to answer. Let me take a drink of my kombucha. Kombucha, good. The answer to my question to myself is I don't know. And that's not a bad place to be, frankly. It's the same type of question as I will eventually ask, would I go back in time and purchase the Chord Mojo? I don't know. If you ask me, would I go back in time and tell myself and force myself not to buy the Beyerdynamic DT1770, the answer would be a resounding absolutely. I would force myself not to even think about the 1770. But that was a very particular reason, with several reasons. The NDH20 is not that type of headphone for me. I wouldn't buy it for monitoring. I wouldn't buy it for critical listening because there are much better alternatives as we've talked about. But for relaxing listening, for a fairly comfortable headphone, up to 2 to 3 hours in my experience, a headphone that has a warmer sound signature, rolled off highs, a pretty easy laid back presentation. It's good for almost all types of music other than piano-centric music, in my opinion. All other types of music, I think it sounds pretty good, pretty darn good. Is it worth $500? Well, is the Chord Mojo worth $500? That's an individual assessment. If you understand what a pair of headphones or a DAC or an amplifier or whatever thing it is, you understand what it actually does versus what other people marketing says it does. If you understand what it actually does, then you get to put a price tag on it. I don't think that the NDH20 is worth $500. Whether you put it in the mixing and mastering and critical listening category or in the category I'm putting it into. And that category, the one I'm putting it into, is casual, relaxed listening. That's where I would place the NDH20. Yeah, you can use this pair of headphones to mix and master. You can use any pair of headphones to mix and master. I've said this many times. You can use your Beats. You can use your Apple earbuds that come with your phone. You can use a pair of cheap earbuds that you find in Target or Walmart or wherever else you want to go. And as long as you understand what those devices can and cannot do, you understand your technique, you understand how to use your tools, then it doesn't matter. You can use whatever you want. And so, no matter what I say about the NDH20 or any other product, as long as you're comfortable going out and learning the tool and working with its eccentricities, if you're confident you can produce good quality music from it, then it doesn't matter what I say, nor does it matter what anybody else says. My bottom line position is that I'm not getting rid of the NDH20. I don't have it for sale on Amazon or US Audio Mart or eBay, and I don't really have any future plans to do that. And the reason is because I kind of like the sound signature. I would describe it almost, and this might be anathema, this might be a controversial statement. I would liken the NDH sound signature to Bose Light, not a true Bose sound, and that's not what I'm saying, but in that vein, in that type of character, slightly bumped up bass and rolled off highs. It's a much more relaxed presentation, still retaining good amount of detail. Not exceptional, but doable. That, I think, is where I would put these headphones and why I'm going to keep them, at least for now. Ultimately, is there a replacement that would give me the same type of sound signature? Probably one of my Sonys, maybe one of my Denons, but I'm not quite sure, because the NDH20 still sounds relatively unique to me. And if something is unique, and I kind of like it, which I do, I keep going back to it. I've had the NDH20 on my desk for, what has it been, over a month and a half? And even when I'm not reviewing the NDH20, when I'm looking at a different product, I reach for the NDH20. And I don't know why I keep doing it, other than I kind of like it. Are there better resolving headphones in my collection? Absolutely. Are there more comfortable headphones in my collection? Yes. Are there headphones that I should be using instead because they're more accurate? They have more soundstage? Yeah. But the NDH20, it's nice, especially for the music that I like to hear. For example, like Sleeping at Last. I really like their music. And by the way, this is AIMP, the free music player for Mac and Windows. And it's much more simple to use than Foobar. I like listening to this type of music. And I don't really want ear piercingness, and I don't really want to worry about treble, and I don't really care to have a whole lot of midtones and mid-frequency accentuation. I just want to sit back and relax and let it happen. And that's what the NDH20 does for me. That's why I'm keeping it. So for anybody who thinks that the NDH20 is a terrible headphone or gets that impression from my recent videos, that's not really what I'm saying. I don't think they're good headphones for mixing and mastering, but I think for all day listening, just regular listening throughout the day, they're good headphones. Not worth $500, but if you can find it for cheaper, $350 or so, yeah, I would definitely give it a thought. Maybe a couple of thoughts. Yeah, I'd probably go back and buy it. At $350, if these things were available and I didn't have the NDH20, but I knew exactly how they sounded, I would absolutely buy it at $350. At $500, it's a tougher sell. But that's just my opinion. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for subscribing. I reach over 240 subscribers today. That's fantastic. Thank you all so very much for your support and your commentary and your feedback. And thank you for being my subscribers. We will talk to each other again soon.